hello. Good evening. Welcome to episode 5 of Blessed in the World. We made it to episode 5. And I'm so appreciative of you taking this time to always just, invite me into your life, because when you take the time to just be with someone, you really are blessing them with your life. So I do not absolutely take that for granted. Speaking of episode 5, for those of you that were here in episode 1, aka Treza and Intibale, you guys you know how you guys know how far we've come. I come from far. We did the things. I hope that your long holiday, the Easter holidays, was really also very, very restful. But I've come to decide but I've come to see that, I feel like adulting is us just consistently being gaslit. Because when we were younger, a long holiday like this, we go to our grandparents, we see our cousins, it's fun, it's nice. Now when it's adulting, I'm like, wait, there was a public holiday? There was a long weekend day. When? I'm already tired. When? But hopefully, we managed to sneak in a little bit of rest here and there. Hi to my girls that are in there. Hi to Loini. As well. Welcome, Loini. Hi, Treza. Hi, Ntipaling. And Tipaling was like, Tipaling's work schedule is crazy, guys. So she definitely did not have any holidays. I know Treza's one is also quite hectic. And yeah, we done came a long way. So here's what's a little bit different in this episode, ladies. It's the and gents who will watch this for future reference, who are not watching live but might watch later. We're not going to have all of our segments today because today's topic is so heavy, and I wanted us to fully dive into it and dissect it, so we have a better understanding of it and not just gloss over it on surface level. So there are certain segments that you might not see in today's episode, but I don't also just want to jump straight into the heavy stuff. So we are going to have our Mjolo story. But today's Mjolo story, again, we're not dissecting it. Today's Mjolo story, we listen and we judge and we laugh. Because it's nice how other people are living their lives and you're like, this is what's going on outside. Okay. Aloini says, love the red lip. It's Rimmel and it's long lasting. Wish I could hold it up and go, can you see? That's Rebel, guys. Also, speaking of the red lip, guys, I wait, let me take off my glasses. I blessed you guys with a little bit of blush. Can you see? Can I get a sharp blush? I feel like low-key a makeup girly, a little makeup girly. Like I said, let me hit them with a little bit of blush. Just the other day, Treza was hating on my little baby hair. She's like, oh, what happened with the hairlines? I tried to brush it today for you, Trez. But yeah, a little bit of blush. Just I blessed you with blush. Hey, yeah, growing up. Oh yeah. Lady says every day is a holiday. Girl. Okay, let's get to. I don't want to hold your time because we're adults and we have things to do. Let's go straight into our John story for today. So hold on to your pearls, hold on to your clutch. I hope you have your tea ready on the side. Hold on, drinking water, because this is a polyamorous relationship, which has become very much popular in the forefront, but we don't see that a lot with the older generation, and we also don't see that a lot in our community. You know what I mean? With our people. Okay, so the picture that you see here, let me just tell you who you're looking at. The lady that's seated, her name is Kenya Stevens. Okay, the two gentlemen beside her are her husbands. So, and they're in a polyamorous marriage, right? So polyamory basically means having or desiring multiple intimate relationships at the same time, with full knowledge and consent of all parties concerned. So it's not like you're cheating and your partner doesn't know that there's someone. No, everybody knows. And we're all saying, yeah, no, we're fine with this. This is how we live. So first husband is, where's my finger going? is Mr. Dreadlocks, the one that is in all blue. Kenya herself, and she's gorgeous. Kenya is 48, right? Her first husband, his name is Carl. That's the one with the dreadlocks and the full blue suit. Okay, they have 3 kids together. Yes, 1, 2, 3, and they all know, and they set their babies down and said, this is the lifestyle that mommy and daddy want to live, and they're a little bit older, so they were like, this makes you happy, my dear, because they don't even live with their children, so their kids are older and they're out of their house and they're dependent kids. Great. So in total, they've been married for 26 years. They've been married for 26 years. When things changed a little bit for them, it was 13 years or 12 years into the marriage, and then Kenya had a sickness. I think it was cancer, speaking under correction. And when she survived, she's a cancer survivor. She survived that. She came back and she's like, listen, because I almost saw death, I think there's a better way to live, and I would like for us to explore a polyamorous marriage. Carl was like, hey, I mean, I told you about this a couple of years ago. I'm open to it. And listen, Carl did not take time with this polyamory thing. Already got into a relationship with her. With a secretary, my dear. Okay, not a secretary, but a colleague. You know, everything always happens at work. Yeah, but Kenya is the primary partner for both of them. So that's why even on the show, this is a show on TLC. On the show, you'll see her and her husband. So husband number 2 is a guy with the blue and the, is that gray? Is that gray or whatever those pants are that are not blue. His name is Tiger. Tiger is 40 years old, and they've been married for 10 years. But they're not legally married. She just did like a spiritual ceremony for him. Actually, I have it here for us.
I would like to say our vows now to our brother husband. Carl, I want to include you in these vows because you're a part of this circle, and I love you so much. Thank you for accepting our brother husband, and thank you for embracing me just as I am, free and totally committed to you.
Okay. Well, I would just like to say that without your courageousness, without your leadership, I wouldn't be standing here today. And I couldn't pick anyone else in this world to be a brother, husband with than you.
Asha, thank you.
It's the brother husband term for me. And I know it comes from sister wives. And I also know it's because they want the partners to feel like they're close. But for me, the moment you put intimacy with a family title, it just feels a little incesty to me. I don't like sister wives. I don't like the term sister wives. I don't like the term brother husband. Guys, I'm sure that we can rebrand it to something else, because maybe it's a me thing. Maybe it's just because it's a me thing, but I don't like the term. But here's what I also found interesting is that husband number 1, main husband, real husband, Carl, was the officiator, right, in the marriage. And they did the vows to him also. Like Kenya understand Kenya saying the vows, to her husband again and thanking him. But brother husband also saying, yeah, I also commit myself to you, my guy, it's because of your leadership that I'm here. An African man would never. Hi, guys. And yes, there are African men that are in polyamorous relationships. I've seen them even when I'm dating online. I've seen those profiles say, hey, polyamorous. Yes, I get that. Where I'm saying is an African man would not be the one that officiates. Not with his family knowing that your wife is about to kiss and commit to another man. And then as a nice African man is gonna stand there, Samia, you may take my wife. I was but am I wrong though? Am I wrong? Just to get them to a polyamorous marriage in the first place is a little bit difficult. But now, especially of that age, let's look at, because we're looking at people that are 48 and going into their 50s. So can you picture that African parent being in a polyamorous relationship. That's your father, our father. Our fathers and uncles being in a polyamorous marriage, and they're the ones that are officiating. Who's African uncle? Guys. And Trezor says hectic. Lloydie says brother husband. We need to rebrand it. We really need to rebrand it. Now there's a spanner that has been thrown in the works. So those are the two husbands. But as with anything that has a huge appetite, it never really ends there. So Kenya now is like, I think I need a third husband. And Carl is not Carl's second husband. No, not Carl. Sorry, Tiger. Tiger is not taking it well at all. Let's take a look.
He's here.
I'll be very cool. All right.
Oh my God! Baby!
Okay, let me introduce you to David. David is now the new boyfriend. And she's been having talks with the two husbands to say, hey, I think I want to get married to a third husband. And then they were like, wait, if you're already dating and you're now looking like you're serious about this guy, we want to meet him. And she goes, oh, okay, no, I'll bring him over so you guys can meet him. David is an ex-boyfriend, so they've been dating before, but I think it was because of distance. Something happened between the two of them, and then they broke up. But then now they've recently reconnected. Unfortunately, I don't know how old David is, but David is a looker, and Kenya is having a new toy, clearly, because she's highly happy.
Come in. I'm so glad to see you. You look awesome.
It'll be my first time meeting David. Not sure what to expect.
Hey.
David.
Hey, what's up, baby?
Remember Carl.
What's happening?
Man. It's been years.
Almost a decade, you know what I'm saying? Come
And
on,
this is Tiger David.
Heard a lot about you, man. You on the same damn height? Almost.
The brotherhood is together. No, just have a.
Not the brotherhood is together as if this is a Marvel movie of husbands. I can't with Kenya. I can't. This girl is tickled. Loine asks, but do the men have relationship with each other? No. So they have relationships with other partners. But Kenya is the primary partner, like the core one for the two of them. So we'll see how David fits if he wants to be part of the polyamorous one.
See, let me take your bag.
You know, Kenya was very giddy, and we haven't really seen her in that state in a while, kind of like tripping over herself.
It puts me a little on edge because I'm suddenly being moved out of Kenya's bedroom just as another person is suddenly coming back into her life.
So the sleeping arrangement and how it's been going, that why you mentioned that he's being kicked out. So ever since, so they live in a two-bedroom apartment. It's a two-bedroom apartment. Carl has his own bedroom. And the person that's been primarily been with Kenya ever since they got married for the past 10 years now is Tiger. So Tiger now is being kicked out of the bedroom because I have a boyfriend. And I need privacy. I need privacy. So the topic for Umjolo is, do you guys see yourself in a polyamorous relationship, or do you see yourself in a polyamorous marriage? You know, before I go to our final clip, I just want to hear from you ladies. Is this something that you would consider? Like, okay, I also want to be the primary partner, but it's okay if they see other people as long as there's transparency and I can also see other people. Let me tell you with me, feel free to judge me. I give you my permission. I do see myself in a polyamorous relationship, but I do not see myself in a polyamorous marriage. And not because of the reason that you think like, oh my gosh, because Swagila is such a good girl. No. I didn't say judge me. The only reason is I don't like living with men. I think because I've lived with myself for so long, for such a long time, I have to psychologically prepare myself to live with just one husband, right? But now in Kenya's case, I can't do the Kenyan thing of having to live with all of my husbands in like a. Imagine waking up in the morning to bathe. Good morning. Actually, Tiger sounds like he's a 10. Good morning. Good morning. I can't wake up to testosterone, guys. I can't come home with so much testosterone. And also the cost of living is too high. Okay, there are men, I'm sure they can, buy food for themselves and all the electricity and water. But I think for me, it's the energy. It's just too much energy in my house. 3 men, 2. Even 1. I need therapy for it. 3 men in my house. That's the only reason why I can't. No, let's all, you know what? Let's all have small houses. I like that program of Sister Wives where the husband is the one that goes to everybody's house like this. So maybe, but even then, and also again, where do you find the time to be in multiple marriages? Relationship, at least maybe, most situationships half. But a whole marriage, because she's calling them her husband because that's how deeply connected she feels that they are, since again she's the primary partner. But the energy of being in a polyamorous marriage, guys. We just spoke now about holidays, like where did it go? Now to get, let me go to the comments before we go to our final one. Can the men bring women in the relationship? Can the men bring women in the relationship? Yes, but not in the home. So they're allowed, like I said, she's the primary one. So they're allowed to have relationships outside of the marriage. But no one is having relationship with, like, everybody now is dating everybody. No, I date Carl. I'm married to Carl, my husband, relationship with my husband. I am married to Tiger, my husband. I am seeing David. So now Carl can have his own girlfriend, whether it's 1 or 2, and then this one can also have a girlfriend, 1 or 2. David can also see other people. What I do know for sure is that the first husband, that's why he's so chalant, the first husband has a girlfriend. What I do not know and what doesn't look like, Carl doesn't, Tiger, sorry, Carl is the husband, the first husband. Tiger doesn't look like he's dating anybody, or if it is, it might be Charlotte, because he is very attached to Kenya, very attached. Okay. Next one, Treza says, oof, no way, kick the husband out for the boyfriend. Also, the husband is second husband. It's not legally a husband. You're a spiritual husband. If the husband of all husbands, the first husband, Carl, can be kicked out of the bedroom, what's the rest of them? What is the rest of them? Treza says, it's not for me, honestly. Loini says, could never be me. Kenya is, hey. Koko. Kenya is the one that says Koko of all cause. Okay, this is our final one. I wanted to show you the rest of the conversation when the gentleman had with the husband, now that they're meeting the boyfriend for the first time. Imbogoto for sure is what Kenya is, isn't it? You're so right. Where is that clip? Here we are.
This is Moonstone. Moonstone, say hi to David.
Hey, Moonstone.
Say, that's daddy number 3.
Hey, we gotta talk about that. Can't lose.
Not them co-signing her giggles. And the 2 husbands are co-signing. Even David is also, let's not, I'm not on you, daddy, please. Let's calm down.
Right, it's just the same. It's beautiful. Same shape, same exact energy, same person.
Oh, it's so good to see you.
So what's going on, fellas?
Hey,
What's
man.
going on?
Just chilling. What are you doing now?
I produce and create music.
Okay, that's what's up. You and Kenya, you guys were really in love and had an amazing relationship. And then you guys went your separate ways. What do you feel that it is about now that brings you all back together?
So my main thing is about money now. I decided, I gotta take care of my mom, take care of my family in general. So I don't really have time to invest in a woman 100% no more. But I still...
Listen, David is saying, I'm here for a good time, not a long time. Basically, that's what that means. No, I'm just here to check with my mother. But I did companionship, so this works out for me. That's why he cut it quick, fast. No, I'm not a new father. Please, I'm not new husband.
I don't want, affection and love. I feel like Kenya is the only one who can understand my lifestyle right now. I definitely feel like we have a stronger connection now that we can understand each other's perspectives. It just makes sense.
I'm gonna take out Moonstone. You're okay here with the guys?
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, we'll just chop it up. The three of us will just talk and
This
chop
is
it up.
going swell. Thank you. I'm the luckiest woman on the planet. It's so nice that Tiger and Carl want to vet David. Like, what if a woman had a man to vet all of her new dates that she met online, to make sure he's cool, to talk to him, let him know what we expect here? You understand? That's like a privilege. We gonna have fun.
Guys, Kenya is gorgeous. Gorgeous lady. But not her leaving the HR to do the new hire. Need to onboard the new hire. And they're there actually also be, let's check this out. Yeah, let's see what this guy is about. Yeah?
On this weekend. I'm so excited. Thank you. Come on, Mooney.
So, one of the things I did want to talk to you about is kind of how we're set up, right now as a family. So, as you know, probably already, Kenya, Tiger, and I, we live, together in this spot.
Oh, okay.
Just wanted to let you know, like, it's kind of like a unit at this point.
Well, as Kenya
Guys, look at how unbothered, so nonchalant is David. I don't think David is here for all of this. Okay, I can't.
talk to you at all about kind of like what her and I are going through at the moment?
No.
What I'm trying to do is solidify our relationship. I wanted to do a ceremony with her, just kind of like a commitment ceremony, just saying that like we're lifelong partners, that sort of thing. And she's really been kind of on the fence about it. And I could never figure out why. Just trying to figure out what's going on with that.
So they're going through that right now. So, I'll just be honest and upfront with you, like you coming into the picture right now is a little bit, sensitive.
Any tension going on, I want to make sure I'm not a part of that tension whatsoever.
That's
I
what's
want
up.
to be an addition to whatever you guys are building. When Carl was asking me straightforward questions, I was not really prepared for it, but my intentions are nothing but good intentions. I just want to make sure I don't cause any issues with anybody. If I can stay out the way somehow, I will.
He seems to be really sincere and really honest, but I think David's timing in all of this seems a little suspect. I feel like I'm being moved out just as a person suddenly is coming in.
Guys, Tiger's chest is in pain. In pain. That's why I'm saying I think he's the one that's, from the episodes that I've seen, he's the one that's mostly attached to Kenya. And the other thing that Kenya said in another separate video, she was like, I'm just going to continue dating. I'm just going to. So even if it's not David, it's going to be someone else. And when Tiger was requested to leave the bedroom, he was having a hard time with it. You know what? In one episode, you know what Kenya said? Kenya went to husband number one, went to Carl, says, Carl, can you talk to Tiger? Give him on tips on how you managed when he was now new in the picture. And guess what Carl did? Husband number one, because husband number one is loyal to a fault. He actually did go and talk to Tiger about the whole situation. Like, no, your jealousy, here's how you handle it. Guys, Kenya is living her best little life. Her best little life. Let's go to the comments before we move on. Could never be me. It's like I said, oh, Liz says OG meetup. But that's just the thing, Shem. Everybody's living their own little separate lives. So that nobody's meeting or cross-pollinating their partners. Loini says, how we know why, it's because of David. David is giving chest pains. Chest pains. Kenya should have been part of the conversation. Kenya's like, guys, since this bothers you, you guys handle it. Like, see, she's the CEO. No, literally, they actually opened up a business together, and she is the CEO. And she works with her husband, the first husband, Carl. So yeah, that's like I said, today on Jolo Stories, we're not dissecting, we just listen and we judge. But what I really found curious and very, curious is the fact that it's our people, yes, African American, but still our people, and also the age group. at which they're practicing polyamory. If it was the younger couple, of course, we know we're used to some of them trickling in and out. But that for me, I was just like, this is serious. Which means that us who are single, if we meet people that are in polyamorous marriages, because I've met two couples separately though, met the gentleman who was like, no, I'm in a polyamorous marriage, and would you like to date? I was like, guys, the way my Christianity is set up, I can't I can't do adultery even if everybody is in agreement with it. But you'll find those instances where people are in polyamorous relationships and marriages, and they're looking at you and they're on some, hey, especially those that are dating online. If you're dating online, you will meet those profiles that are like, so again, before you wander into a situation, these are things that we should be aware of, and we should talk about freely, and also know where you stand with this. If you meet someone and then they tell you, hey, even if you met them at 2-3, what are your boundaries, and how would you like to navigate that situation? Because guys, 21st century dating in 2025, yeah, it's real. Talking about realness, let's get to the crux of today's issue. Yeah, and I will be reading some more comments towards the end of the show. For now, are we ready? Should we take a breather? Here we go. So in today's Help, I'm in the Wild, we're looking at narcissism, as you saw from the poster. We are looking at how one attracts them and how one can spot them. And this is like the segment of the show where you are more than welcome to email me, DM me, any of your questions that we can discuss and we can talk about. So here is today's question.
Hey, Sibo. So, the flags are flagging, and my intuition, Sana, it's twitching. Hey, it's twitching. So, basically, my question is, how do I spot and avoid the trap of dating a narc, aka a narcissist? Okay. In actual fact, this is a three-part question. Am I attracting narcissists? You know what I'm saying? How do I spot one early on? And how do I avoid the trap? Because, Mina, I'm tired. My tired is tired. Help a sister out.
Girl, I hear you. Our tired is carrying tiredness beyond the tired of tired, you know? And I hear this has been, gosh, pop psychology has been doing the rounds on social media and has been throwing around the term narcissist a lot lately. And sometimes really it's been doing that, and even people are doing that online very unfairly. So before I even start answering the questions, I really want to dissect the two different things, or demystify narcissism and what it actually is and what it isn't, and even with people, so then it can help us maybe move more with a direct sense of awareness, and also a little bit of empathy, because sometimes I feel like we're a bit unfair on people. And I want this topic of narcissism to not just be us looking at those people that we are dating, but also the people that are our friends, people that are our family members, people that are our colleagues. Yes, colleagues, but to a certain degree, guys, colleagues we leave at the job. Don't stress too much about colleagues, even though they dig into our lives more often than not, and take more time than we see our friends in our social circles. But it's not someone that you should take to heart that much. But the people that really do affect us are people that we really care about a lot. So let's get to breaking it down. So firstly, there is a huge difference between narcissistic personality disorder and someone that has narcissistic traits and narcissistic tendencies, right? So there's this very huge, very important book, the Psychologist's Big Diagnostic Book. It is the DSM-5. This is where they talk to you about a diagnosable mental health condition, which is then a narcissistic personality disorder. And they follow such a strict criteria. in order for them to see if if a person suffers from this condition. It is really an actual mental health condition. So for someone to even be diagnosed with NPD, the trained professional, please guys, because these are the people that know what to look out for. And what they usually look out for, they look for a consistent pattern of behaviors and thoughts that affect the person's life and relationship negatively and deeply. And really, to be diagnosed, someone must show again, can we say it together? Consistent pattern of behavior over time, including but not limited to, because like I said, it's a huge criteria. So here I just give you a little bit of it. So if this person shows an inflated sense of self-importance, either exaggerated achievements, expecting to be seen as superior, or a deep need for admiration, a lack of empathy, exploiting others for personal gain, when they have a fragile self-esteem behind the scenes, in front of everybody, oh, they're doing great, difficulty handling criticism, and they also have a strong sense of entitlement. But again, the key difference here is that these patterns are persistent, rigid, and they cause problems everywhere, not just in their relationship, but with their friends, with their family members, at work. Day-to-day life for them is affected to a point where a health practitioner has to intervene and step in to be able to help. Okay? Are we together on that? Okay. Now let's look at someone who has narcissistic tendencies and narcissistic traits, because this is really a completely different ball game altogether. Okay, this means that this person sometimes behaves in ways that are self-centered, they seek validation, but it's really not their entire identity. It's not the totality of who they are. So we can simplify it by saying someone who has a headache here and there, and then someone who suffers from chronic migraine. The other one needs really in health intervention, and the other one, you're okay. You can manage it here and there. And these traits that some may show occasionally, some of these may show in specific situations. You might notice that someone talks about themselves a lot. This person craves attention and validation. This person can be self-absorbed or dismissive at times. And when this can show up also is from people that have low self-esteem, they have childhood traumas, or they're going through a particular phase in their lives. So they're, teenagers have high narcissistic traits. But are they narcissists? No. Do they have that personality disorder? No, it's just that phase in their life. Or people that are famous, people that have power and money. Other times you can see these narcissistic traits flaring up for people who are very much under stress, or they're just in survival mode. Again, with self-awareness and with support and therapy, traits can be changed. A disorder, on the other hand, is much, much harder, to deal with. And when we're looking at someone with a narcissistic personality disorder, really, it is estimated that about I saw this somewhere. It's estimated that around approximately 0.5 to just 6.2% of the general population really suffers from narcissistic personality disorder. Now, the reason why there is so much confusion is because social media, like I said, pop psychology, they often use these buzzwords to just take an umbrella of things like this person is toxic, this person is selfish, this person is manipulative, and they have those behaviors, and then they go, okay, now that's narcissism. But that's not everyone that is being difficult. Everyone that is being hurtful is a narcissist, because calling someone a narcissist without a real diagnosis is like saying someone who is sad is clinically depressed. It's such a oversimplification of the issue, and quite honestly, it can be very, very harmful. Okay? But with that being said, let's look at some of the takeaways. Takeaway number one is that, unfortunately, I'm sorry to hurt our feelings, but we all have a little bit of narcissism in us. Salt Bay, right? You can't see me with that little finger, but it's a little bit of Salt Bay. We have a little bit of narcissism in us. Really, it's part of being human. And let's also remember that narcissistic personality disorder is a diagnosis. It's not a trendy insult, and should not be used as a trendy insult. It's better than for us knowing better now to describe their behavior. Like, this person is manipulative, this person acted selfishly, this person is toxic, rather than labeling an entire person that they are a narcissist. But here's what I also do know, and what I do understand, is that just because someone doesn't have a narcissistic personality disorder does not mean that they are harmful, toxic, manipulative, narcissistic traits are not evident and they are not harmful. It is also, and I understand why, pop psychology also has used that as a blanket statement, really, because it's easy to just throw a label at something, and because it's important to be able to name your experience, and when you do that, it gives you a better understanding of what you're going through. I understand that. I also understand the need to hold people accountable that are harmful in those ways. So tonight, what we're going to be talking about, because there's such of course, a low number of people that we have not diagnosed that have narcissistic personality disorder, we can't really speak on that if they're not diagnosed. But what we can speak on is people that have they have high narcissistic tendencies and narcissistic traits, because it comes, some of us get a little bit of salt, and it comes when we're happy or when we're social media, we want the likes, yeah. But then there are some people that really do have a high tendency of it, and they are very harmful to you. So that's where now we're going to start looking at that and answering that question, because what do those traits actually look like? Okay, what do we look for in them? Again, let's not just look at our dating partners and our partners in intimate relationships. Let's look at people that are our family members. We're looking at people that are our friends and people that are in our circle, and even colleagues, to see, okay, is this person someone to be wary of when I do engage with them, and when I do, when should I then draw boundaries? Yeah. So first and foremost, these are people that it's always about them. They will love, now number two is mostly for someone who's in a dating phase. They will love bomb you, then withdraw. They have a lack of genuine empathy. They can't handle criticism, even if it's constructive. They are always the victim or the hero. They are never the villain. They control you through guilt and manipulation. They are the ones that need constant validation, and they struggle with long-term intimacy. And yes, I'm going to break it down. So I'm not going to just give you a list and go, sorry, that's the list. So let's start with number one. It's always about them. It's always about them. Even when you're talking about your own struggles, they will find a way to quickly shift that focus back to themselves. For another simple example, when you say, oh my gosh, I've had such a hard day today. Wait, guys, is my mic still fine? Oh yeah, it is. I've had such a hard day today. And they go, you think you've had a hard day? Let me tell you what I went through. And then again, they start talking endlessly about themselves. And they rarely ask about you, or only ask to bring the conversation back to themselves. And their story toppers. They always have a story to tell you, my dear. Just shift again the spotlight constantly on them. So here's where the red flag comes in, or here's where I need you to learn to, as women and just as people, dive into our bodies. Loini does a beautiful body meditation and learns, movement. She's great at teaching movement and the importance of being in your body and listening to your body. Sometimes you don't know the words. Let's talk about the feeling. What does that now feel like when you're around this person or dealing with this person? This person will often feel like you are emotionally invisible around them. You feel that way. You feel like, you know what, I'm not seen here. That's how it now feels like. Okay, let's look at when they do like you and they're like, yes, love, that they will love bomb you, and then they will withdraw, because at first they're charming, they're flattering, they're intense, they're texting all day, they're already calling you wifey, which just started talking 2 days ago, but okay, like, you're my wifey, you're my soulmate, talking big dreams, and then suddenly they become distant and they become cold. So at first they really do. They overwhelm you with all of that attention, with the praise, with the gift, with the charm. I don't know if Namibian men and South African men give gifts these days. Let's just say they flood you with praise and charm. And suddenly they become distant. They become critical. They become controlling. And what they do is they create a emotional confusion. So what you then do, you're constantly chasing that nice version of them that they showed you at the beginning, because most you're hanging, because most as women you like being hopeful, you're hanging on to that hope because no man, this guy has it in him because he showed me just now, so what is going on? But then again, how does it feel like being with this person? It feels like you are forever in an emotional roller coaster. If you were to listen to your body, to your spirit, to your mind, you're like, the ups and downs is just too much. Okay? And then these are the kind of people that lack genuine empathy. So when you're hurt, they may be dismissive of your feelings. They may blame you for those feelings. They may say that you're really too sensitive, because what they do is they really do struggle with that genuine connection with your own emotions. And even responding to your happy moments, they might find a hard time with. So when you come now with the sadness, they will quickly just change the subject from your pain, because it's not what they do. It's not, they don't know how to do that. And also they will dismiss you as saying that maybe you're too sensitive, you're too dramatic, you're too negative, and they struggle to really comfort or support you unless, again, it benefits them. Right? Let's get back to our feelings, to our bodies. What does this then now feel like? You then often feel unseen, you feel emotionally alone, even when you're physically in their presence. You're like, I'm by myself in this, right? Right. I know we're getting a little bit heavy. And again, we're not just looking at our partners, we're looking at people that care for us and people that we care for. If these are some of the traits that they have, shown us. Okay. And then these are also kind of people with high narcissistic traits and narcissistic tendencies are people that really can't handle constructive criticism. And sometimes not even criticism, just feedback. Just saying, hey, how I feel about this issue is A, B, C, D, E, F, G. So they will lash out, they will sulk, they will turn it around on you, because what criticism does is that it threatens their fragile ego. It does. They will react with defensiveness, they will react with rage instead of a reflection. For example, you might go and you're doing something, says, hey, when you said that in front of my friends, it really hurt my feelings. Just that little thing. It's not even criticism, it's just information that you're giving them about how they've made you. But because now they feel you're attacking them, all of a sudden is, well, maybe you were so dramatic, I wouldn't have done that. So it goes from 0 to 100. You just came in little by little, and then they just took it to 10,000. You are not even at 1. They're at 10,000, a million. So they get defensive, they get angry. Sometimes they even get sarcastic at your feedback. If it questions them, especially, they get defensive and sarcastic, like, you're one to talk. Like, now, why am I catching strays? And they will always blame others for mistakes. They will shift responsibility, and here to punish you and keep you in check and in line. What they do is they will give you the silent treatment, or they will act like a victim afterwards. So, and as I know you've seen some of those videos where a girl finds out the guy is cheating, and then she confronts him, and then she wants to leave, and then he starts on the floor crying endlessly like he's the victim. You know what I mean? So that, again, let's get back to our bodies and how being around this person, how can it make us feel here if it's about criticism or feedback. You feel like you are forever walking on eggshells, even when you're being kind and careful in the conversation. Even if, like a cat, you're just trying to, hey, babe, or hey, friend, what happened the other time? But still, they will explode on you. So if that's the feeling that you get when you are with someone, when you have to give them information, that is something you have to be wary of. Yeah? That it's not you, it's actually them. The other trait that they have is that they are always the victim or the hero. They are just those two things. They are the victim or the hero. They cannot be the villain. That's why the previous one, they are lashing out, because what do you mean I'm the villain? I can't be the villain. So they really do take accountability for their actions. They are always on it's someone else's fault. It's the boss, it's the ex, it's the family. I mean, if they were a up-and-coming hip-hop rapper, they will be having haters. To all of my haters, you know what I mean? Because that's all they seem to have. It's always someone else. So they will tell stories where they're really misunderstood, geniuses, or some loyal friend betrayed them, or they're the only ones who always care. No one even cares about them, and they never admit where they're wrong or they've hurt you, unless, again, it's for damage control and for image management. Otherwise, and here's the other thing that they will do: they will always twist the facts to suit their own narrative. That's why even in the talking stage, if you're talking to to a guy, and all they're ever talking about is how all of the other exes did him dirty, or if you're talking to a girl, all of the other men, there's no way where there's a little bit of accountability from this person's side. It's always someone else, and never them, right? And one thing that they do use is control through guilt and manipulation. So because they twist the facts, they deny things that they said, or they make you question your reality, or you start even doubting your memory, your feelings, or your judgment. And they use this subtle but not so subtle tactic to get their way of guilt tripping you. Like, oh, after everything I've done, all I tried to do, you've given feedback that time, like, hey, babe, you know when you picked me up and it started raining and I was just in the rain for an hour, all I ever tried to do is love you. That's all I ever tried to do. Or you talk to a family member about an issue. What's about? I'm the only one in this family that is ABC. Hi, that's not where we were going with this thing. So, so they use guilt tripping, and others use gaslighting as if something never happened. Like, but I asked you to pick me up at 2. No, that's not what you said. No, you didn't say 2. 2? You never said 2 to me. Or actually, yeah, it's 2, but why? It's just an hour later. Man, you're too sensitive. And again, they know how to play the victim. They will never allow you to be the victim, because they will always be the victim, especially, let me tell you when, especially when you try to set boundaries. Then they will throw a tantrum to try to make you move your boundaries to accommodate them and what their needs are. Again, let's get back to how it feels. How does this feel like? It feels like you have to always question your memory. It feels like you always have to question your feelings. It feels like you consistently have to question your judgment of things, like, wait, am I seeing this right? Like, is it me? Is it? And again, these are the kind of people that have the need to constantly need validation. So they need to be the center of that attention. They need those compliments. They hate being ignored. They hate being outshined. They will fish for that compliment. You have to tell me, I thought today, you just didn't tell me that today I look nice, or today I didn't. What do you mean? And they're jealous when others shine. And please, ladies, be very careful of a man that also gets jealous when you are shining. Let's just sit with that with a little bit. Because you can feel it. You can tell when a man doesn't want you to progress in life. Okay. Again, these are people that get moody. They get passive aggressive if they don't get their way, especially if they get ignored. Try to break up with them. Okay. And give them a silent treatment that they serve you. It's not going to go well. Okay. Now, let's get into our bodies. What does this feel like? This feels like you are constantly having to be the cheerleader. You are not there to be a partner. You're not there to be a friend. You're not there to be an equal. You are just there to go, yay, look at what you did. Oh, man. You're just there to be the first lady that doesn't do anything. That doesn't also don't look like the first lady also, because they don't like that. Please, just be there in the background in GA. Okay? I feel like let me just quickly gloss over some others, so I don't want to spend too much time on this. This is really one of the most important ones. They struggle with long-term intimacy. They are amazing at the honeymoon phase, because, like I said, they're love bombers. Because they're love bombers, honeymoon phase, that's where they shine. Long-term wise, when real love, intimacy has to kick in, the messy part of love, that we're talking vulnerability, we're talking compromise, we're talking growth, where that is needed, that is where they disappear on you. They emotionally disappear, and they become cruel, especially when things start getting real, because emotional withholding and avoidance of vulnerability is where they're at. They will also, if you look again at their life, they have a trail of not just ex-lovers, we all have exes, please. Also, I don't have an ex. Sorry, guys. I have colleagues, ex-colleagues. We worked together on a project and it didn't work out. Yeah. But yes, we all have exes, but they have an ex trail of ex-friends. You know, ex partner changing, like it's a mess. It's a mess there by them because they use people instead of connecting with them, and they can't seem to really maintain healthy bonds. And if they do have friendships, those new friendships are shallow friendships, very, very shallow. It's here, it's there. People really don't like being around them. If you want to look out for family members don't really like to also interact much with them, because they thrive in conflict and chaos. They're always causing drama. They're the ones that are always in some kind of drama because that is where they can control the narrative, and that is where they cause the most damage. Okay, so let's get into our bodies. How does this feel like? It feels like you're always giving, and it feels like you're always fighting for the relationship. You are exhausted. It feels like you're forever giving and rarely receiving. And that means there is absolutely no intimacy. There's no intimacy in this relationship. There's no intimacy in this friendship. There's absolutely no intimacy in this familyship. Yeah. What's family? You know what I mean, guys. you know what I mean. So just to sum up, because I know you can't memorize all of the other 8 things, and I don't want you walking around feeling like you're a dictionary. What I want you to do is, again, please dive into your body. How does being around someone like this, how does it really, really feel like? It feels like it's you are emotionally drained. You are forever anxious. You feel like you are unsure of your worth around them, with them, in their company. You feel like you are never enough, regardless of what you do. You feel like you are being manipulated, especially when it's hard for you to explain how. Like, you know something is wrong, but you just don't have the vocabulary for it. And the moment that happens, nah, and you feel it, it is truth. And here's what I want us to really, really start doing as women, and especially as women. Sorry, gents, if you're still on the line, I'm going to watch this later. But as you know, primarily my audience is for women. Love you guys, though. But yeah, it's people. When we need to start listening to our gut and trusting it and working with it. Because confusion is often a clue that something is off. Confusion feels manipulative. If it feels confusing, like love comes with a price, you please don't ignore that. Right? Secondly, set clear boundaries, because again, we're not talking just about love relationships. We can dump these people, man. We can dump. I can give you tips on how to dump. It's not a problem. But then what do we do then if we're dealing with people that we can't break up with? We're dealing with colleagues. You can't just quit my job. Quit my job because someone is stressing me out with their narcissistic tendencies, not their narcissistic traits. Mina could never be. Or there's a family member, and we love our family members. We love those. So what do we do with people like that? Here's where we really need to set very, very, very clear boundaries, because narcissistic people that have those people with high narcissistic traits, pardon me, they often like to push their limits. So don't be afraid to protect your peace. If it means just dealing with them on the family WhatsApp group and that is it, you deal with them on the family WhatsApp group and that is it. Yeah. If it means you only talk to your colleague via email, you talk to your colleague via email. What's the problem? I hope this email finds you well. Kind regards, and there must be one. Keep it pushing, sweetie. Because the moment you allow, then now it's on you, right? And number 3, really, and this is important, please stop over explaining yourself. Let me get back to the dating, to those that are in not even situationships, but in the talking stage where someone has started going, blowing hot and cold. They love bombed, now they have disappeared. Now when you want to write a whole see more on WhatsApp, you are hey, see. And then sometimes it's a whole voice note. For those of you that are voice noters, a whole voice note explaining yourself and your feelings. Sweetie, what that will just tend to happen, it's either they will turn you completely cold, which will hurt you even more, leave you on red, because that's another way of manipulation, or they will twist that whole paragraph that whole Bible, that thesis that you sent them, they will twist your words and use your words against you. What I need for us to really stop doing is stop convincing people to love us, to want us, or even respect us. You have respect for yourself, you love yourself, it's enough. It's enough. Stop over explaining yourself, please. And keep evidence. Again, this is more in a workplace situation. I feel like if you're dating someone and you are at this place of keeping evidence, you are in dangerous territory, very dangerous territory. But for other situations like at work and in family members, especially, yeah, type no. I talked to them. I talked to Uncle Jonas 2 weeks ago. I said, because now you've been pushed under the bus and get in the WhatsApp group or in the situation. No. Kinali evidence. Bah. Because what you're not going to do is make me look crazy and make other people hate me, because that's where you thrive. Because you try to now bend people and twist things for your narrative. Okay, so keep evidence if you feel like you've been gaslit, and just help, even journaling and writing it down just for yourself, so that for your own mental health, to know that you are not crazy, you're fine, this person is off, a little bit off. And it's important for you to reach out to safe people that really do ground you, that do validate you and just give you clarity. But most importantly, please consider therapy. Please do consider coaching, especially if you're in or recovering from one of those dynamics, because it can be so harmful. So harmful. Okay, now let's get to the second part of the question. I need to take a breather. Wait. I'm sorry, guys. If I'm rushing through anything, then it's going to be on YouTube. You can play it back. The only thing is, I really never like keeping you guys here long. I always want to just be in, to be out. You get what you need, and we will talk more about it once we have our masterclass. Yeah? Yes, we are having a masterclass. I'll tell you what it's about. Or maybe not. I'll keep you guessing. I don't know. Let me just go to the comments here before I continue. I should have been part of the conference. Yeah. Nelo, hi Nelo. Thank you for joining us. She says, glad I didn't miss tonight's stream. And this is so informative. Oh, I'm so glad. Thank you so much. And then Treza agrees with Nelo. Oh, you guys are just agree with one another. Okay, it's fine. It's cute. This is cute. Okay. So let's get to the other part of the question that Liz had, which was, wait, am I attracting people with high narcissistic tendencies and traits? Is that what we're doing? Well, some do. Yeah, I don't know in particular with anybody's situation, but you know how there are houses where it's nicely protected. A thief will come, because people with high narcissistic traits, they will try everybody. You know, it's not like there's a sign on you that says, yeah, when you are easy mark, easy target, come. But think of yourself as a house. There are certain houses that are in gated communities, well protected. There's CCTV, there's cameras, and so when a thief walks by, they might try here, but they will not be able to get access to the building, right? And then there are other houses that it's at the corner. There's a riverbed. There's no fence. And you're a good-looking house. You know, you have a little something, like you have a TV, flat screen TV in there that I can just come and take and go. So yes, so there are some people where you can be easily manipulated. And let's look at what is it about us, because I'm going to use us, all of us. It's not going to be a you. If I say you, please correct me. But us, what is it about us that may contribute to us being easy targets for people that have high narcissistic tendencies and high narcissistic traits? Here's the first one. Again, this is such an oversimplification, but I hope it does help us as we move forward in our lives. If we consider, I almost said you, if you consider yourself an empath, no. People that are usually empaths and people that are highly sensitive. And it's not a bad thing. You know why? Because you're naturally caring, you're kind, and you're attuned to other people's emotions. What makes you a target is that you tend to see the best in people even when they hurt you repeatedly. You know this person has broken into your house, but you are still not locking your door at night. Okay? And also what makes it a little bit is when you start confusing emotional intensity with emotional intimacy. because your hormones are such at a high, because this person will take you through the roller coaster, that you feel like, oh my gosh, there's something here and I feel so connected. Yeah, you're connected to them through toxicity because they're forever taking you through the highs and lows, but that is not intimacy. Intimacy should not feel chaotic. Intimacy is safe. And mind you, again, in the dating, it is very steady and slow. So let's stop rushing into things. Again, we talked about this last week, because you're auditing your age. You're like, I'm this old, so things must happen fast. You're auditing the wrong thing, and you're going to find yourself in wrong relationships because of it. Okay, what makes you an even bigger target is because you repeatedly ignore red flags in the name of compassion. Because most, you're a nice person and you're an empath. And I have friends that are empaths. I'm not going to mention any names. They're also logged on here. And it's not only one, it's many. I don't want to look in their direction. They know themselves. They're amazing empaths, and that's not the problem. The problem is when you ignore those red flags in the name of compassion, because narcissists crave their attention and they crave that emotional labor. Okay, now the second one that we can look into is, if you tend to be the kind of person, if we are the kind of people that are people pleasers and conflict avoidant personalities, we have to look out for that, because what then tends to happen is this: the kind of people that prioritize harmony and will keep the peace, and you're keeping the peace now at your own expense, right? That's where the danger is, because you don't like conflict. You don't want to upset anyone. You don't want to feel rejected. And that's why you can easily attract a narcissist, because what makes you a very, very easy target is because they will manipulate you through guilt. Again, we talked about how they like using guilt on some. Oh, all I've been trying to do is love you, and here you are. And you're like, oh, because again, you don't want to conflict and you just want to people please. Oh, no, it's fine. Yeah. And then you tend to then over apologize or second guess yourself just for the sake of peace. I don't want to dwell too much on this, honestly, before I get upset now, and I'm not going to get upset. And this one is straightforward. I'm not going to talk too much about the low self-esteem part, but I do want to look at codependency. Codependency, the need to always be with someone because you're so afraid of being alone. And that's why I keep pushing us, and I mean all of us, to really let's go on these solo love dates. Because then when someone walks into your life, they're walking into where love already exists. So when they leave, they're not leaving you empty, because what you had is what you had. It's still there. They're not leaving with a sense of identity, because when they came in, they restructured the sitting room, the living room, the what. Now they're left, and you're like, no, and now they've taken all the furniture and it's empty in here, because you've given so much of yourself away because of your need to have them in your life, because again, you struggle to say no, you're struggling to set boundaries, you're struggling to walk away, and you then derive your identity from being wanted and being needed and being useful. So you then tolerate mistreatment in exchange for attention, validation, and partnership. Right? Because you're enough without being wanted. I think as women also, that's why a lot of us, even in the family, society-wise, you have to be needed and you have to be useful, because without that, then what are you good for? No, you're good for being a human being as is. You're sufficient and you're enough. And here's another thing that, Bob the Builder. We are Bob Builders. We have the kind of personalities that we are rescuers, we are fixers, especially if we're coming from childhood traumas, which I know most of us are coming from there. But when you are then drawn to broken or emotionally complex people, your house is wide open for someone with a high narcissistic trait to just walk in. Most, you want to fix me? Okay, here I am. You want to play Jesus is my life? Here. And now the Jesus will be reversed, because now you are the one that has to sacrifice yourself for this person. So don't mistake chaos for intensity. Again, we've talked about this. And why it is that they get attracted to us, because they play the role of the wounded and misunderstood person. Like, nobody understands me, and I try to love, like even in my previous relationships, I've been trying to love, but no one is loyal. So because when now you want to prove to this guy, because I know there are girls that are loyal, you just then overdo, overcome, I'm going to fix this perception that he has. That's not your job. It's not your job to heal his wound. It's not your job to heal his perception. It's not your job to show that you can do the most, right? It's not your job to be the rescuer, stepping in, trying to prove whatever it is that he needs. He needs loyalty, he needs support, he needs someone he can trust. He should come there already with trust, and please come with all of that. Don't come here and then I have to dig myself and bury myself so that you can have all of it, okay? Okay. Now, the other thing that makes us target is when we are high achievers, but we suffer from inner self-doubt. So we are very confident outside, but internally we're very unsure and we're very lonely. Now, I am not talking about the imposter syndrome. We all suffer from an imposter syndrome in drips and drabs. It's allowed, it happens, and it's natural. That's not what I'm talking about here, but I'm talking about a prolonged sense of imposter syndrome that lasts in everything. So there's certain, with imposter syndrome, you feel imposter syndrome maybe from work or on a certain project, but it's not an imposter syndrome as a friend, as a lover. Do you know what I mean? But if you're feeling across the board that you're a failure, but you're outwardly showing that, that's something to be careful of. And you then do that. You use overworking for approval. You use your achievement to garner and receive love. You ignore your emotional needs because you have that favor of just staying productive and looking like you work so much to say I deserve, because my accomplishments should say that I deserve love. That's what my accomplishments should say. Not know my self-worth, just me existing because Jesus loves me, should say I deserve love. Do you see the difference? Yeah. So with people with high narcissistic tendencies, they enjoy the prestige of being with someone successful, but then they come in to undermine your confidence because why? They will try to maintain control over you. Okay? Okay. 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 Are we still okay? We're still okay. With how it was during the first episode, some of you might know, I'm still so paranoid that I'm losing sound. So every other time, forgive me, I keep checking to see, wait, is the mic still working? Has someone said something about, we can't hear you? It's my trigger, so please don't mind me. But let's get to the next one. The next one is when you are from an emotionally unstable or neglectful home, which is all of us. Guys, we are African children raised by African parents that went through a lot, so they were not emotionally available. So please, this is all of us. This is all of us. But just like in a family or in a home setup, you can be raised in the same home, and then there are other people that heal and know how to protect their home, right? Secure fence, CCTV. And then there are people that come from that same broken home and continue with their brokenness moving in the world. Okay, because where you come from, sorry, I'm about to cough a little bit. Let me just mute my mic. Oh, okay, I'm back. Is that fine? Okay. Sorry, I didn't want to cough on you guys, but I could feel it coming. Yes. So just because you are where you come from, previously disadvantaged homes, it doesn't mean that we're going to walk out in the world attracting anything. We have to do the internal work to make sure that we attract people that are healthy because we've become healthy, right? But if you have grown up in an environment, which we have, where there's inconsistent love or emotionally unavailable caregivers, what tends to happen if you do not heal that childhood wound is that we then start to normalize emotional unpredictability for love, right? We confuse that anxiety and that push and pull, the distant, you love me, that you don't love me, because that's how we grew up with some of our caregivers. They're there, they're not there, they're there, they're not there. So this to us is what love looks like. This is to us what love feels like. So it's really not a problem. So if this person walks into my life and this is how they're treating me, I know you still love me, I get it, because this is normal. Why? Because this feels familiar. And because it feels familiar, because my brain doesn't want to do a lot of that work, this is then safe, but this thing is harmful. So what a person with a high narcissistic trait then does is they mirror the trauma, but you can't see that because you haven't processed your own trauma. You just know the familiarity that, oh, this is what we do, this is normal here, this is normal here. And here, if you recognize yourself, because I recognized myself in a lot of these things, where I'm like, wait a minute, am I easily susceptible to having and attracting someone who has high narcissistic tendencies and traits? And if so, but what does that say about me? Do you know what I mean? And let me tell you something that my psychologist said to me. She said, there is nothing wrong with you. And I'm gonna say it to you. Yeah, I paid for the therapy session so that you can have it for free. Don't worry, because I love you. There is nothing wrong with you, and you are not broken. If anything, and here's where the power lies. You are not weak. You are not foolish. You are deeply compassionate, and you are deeply loyal, and you are deeply, deeply, deeply capable. You are a capable somebody. That's why you are here right now. The grown woman, the grown man who has done the things, who've done the things when deeply capable. So the only thing that is lacking here is just clear boundaries, right? Emotional validation, right? Because that's what you lack, right? You lack that emotional, you lack and have a belief that love shouldn't feel like suffering. That's what you now need to address and let go of. And if you recognize that, you see that this is just a powerful first step. You can absolutely, these are just patterns. You can absolutely build, unlearn these patterns. You can learn how to build strong boundaries. You can learn how to attract healthy love. Guys, man, where's this thing? A little self-doubt. We can work on those things. Those things are easy, man. Self-doubt. Never say that. A little, no, I have a complex of being a fixer. Guys, we can fix. Those things. These are small. We're not fixing you as a person, because there's nothing wrong with you. It's just for you to unlearn those patterns, so that you don't easily attract, and even if they come to the door, they will not be able to come in and destroy your life and emotionally harm you. So that's the good news. The good news is these are just patterns. It's not, it doesn't make you look like anything. You are an amazing human being. You are worthy of love that is not chaotic. You are worthy of love that is not confusing. And I mean that in terms of your love relationships and your other relationships as well. Okay. Okay, let's go to the comments now before I move on. Dwelling says, can a person with bipolar also be narcissist? Because a friend of mine has all those keys you're talking about, and also she's been diagnosed with bipolar. Yes, you can both, because people tend to think that if you have like a mental health disorder that you can't be other things as well. You absolutely can. She could also, like say, she could have high tendencies of narcissism, but again, and I have to have like especially not a physician to speak mostly about this, because with bipolar most you have those the extreme highs and extreme lows, and those extreme highs, they can really showcase higher levels of narcissistic traits and narcissistic tendencies as well. So yes, Nal says, are we able to download this video and others as well? I need to take Nels, I think you can. I think you can. I think I made it downloadable. I'm sure I made it downloadable. Yeah, but I'll double check with the settings in the YouTube of things. The YouTube of things. Okay. Now let's get to our self-care challenge. If you have any questions before, please do pop them in there, because I know there is a delay between when I speak and then when I also see the messages pop up. Yeah. Oh, wait, before we move on to self-care, I've created a free self-reflection checklists to help you explore whether you might be vulnerable to people with high narcissistic traits. And again, this isn't about shame. This isn't about judgment. It's not about any of that. It's just about self-awareness and just giving yourself the power to choose differently in the future. Because when you know yourself, you know how to move in the world, right? It just gives you the freedom and also to do better and to learn and unlearn and heal. So if you're still not sure, it's like, do I have a trait? Or maybe I should send this to someone so that they can see that they're prone to just attracting people with high narcissistic tendencies. So it's free. It is in the description below on this video. You can download it absolutely for free. There are also other 2 freebies that you can download for those of you that are talking to a special somebody and you just want to ask them questions about their lives, just to get a deeper understanding of them. There is a 10 questionnaire in there. And then talking about the self-care challenge, there is solo date ideas as freebies also attached in the description below. So let's talk about our self-care challenge. This is where we pour into ourselves and we love ourselves. Guys, this week there is no self-care challenge. Please, because I also don't want self-care to feel like a chore. It shouldn't feel like it's labor. It shouldn't feel like, no, now we have to, because now if it feels like that, it stops being self-care. Self-care should be something that it's nourishing, again, something that pours into you. So if it starts feeling like it's work, we're not, no. So I don't want to give you back to back self-care challenges, because now it really is going to feel like it is work. So what you can do is just revisit or do, or if you haven't done all of the 4 that we've done before this past 4 weeks, revisit one of them. If you've done all 4, we did the first week, we talked about solo dates and why it's important for you to go on a solo date. Secondly, to pour into ourselves, to even heal ourselves, we said, you please do write yourself a love letter. Use your own handwriting, no typing, no writing it in the notes. Use your hand to pour into yourself, to prove to yourself the kind of love that you deserve, so that when it walks in, you really do recognize it. You know what I mean? And people walk into your life finding that love already exists there, right? That was the second week. The third week, we had clearing some clutter, because a good environment makes us feel better. It makes us do better. It's also an extension of how we can declutter our mind. So even if you're not doing a whole spring clean, it's not spring yet, so we're going to winter cleaning. Even if it's just at your desk at work, a drawer, that box of clothes you've been trying to sort out, just declutter it. It really will make you feel better. And then last week we talked about treat yourself to your favorite meal. Buy yourself something nice. You know how nice it is when someone surprises you at work with lunch, or someone goes, oh, I got that. You be that to you. You be that to you. So again, this week I'm not going to give you more things to do. No. Just pick one of those, or pick something completely different, or take a rest from self-care challenges. Take a nap. Napping is also a good self-care challenge. Please take a nap, be well. I think I'm going to do the food one, because I didn't get a chance to do the food one prior to the during the week. I didn't get time to do that. Okay, let's see. Do we have any more questions here? Before we wrap it all up? No, thank you so much for an amazing and informative episode. No, thank you so much, Nelau, and everybody else who's tuned in live, and I know everybody else will get to tune in later on. I highly appreciate each and every one of you. And if you have any questions, if you have any queries, if there is a topic, an episode, a discussion that you would like for us to have, any suggestion, my suggestion box is the email, and it is in the description below as well. Feel free to also DM me. Feel free to also, I'm working on the WhatsApp line, guys. Please, it requires multiple phones for these things. So we'll get there. But for now, I think directly, so that you don't get lost in the conversations of DMs, the email would work best. And you guys are professionals. As per my previous email, I want that. I want that. Thank you so much for this evening. Thank you so much for being part of this circle and this community of a safe space. Like, I am learning as you are learning. I am healing as you are healing. And I appreciate each and every one of you. Now let's go and have a great, restful night. And we shall meet each other soon. And please do remember, love is always in your favor. Remember my blush. Guys, let me show you my blush before I go. I just have a try. Okay, bye.